Okay, it is October 23rd. So I'm now just, let's see, 2 days out of rehab. I'm officially 21 days sober. So I've gone 21 days without the taste of alcohol. I actually checked in on the first, but I don't count that day because I did drink in the morning. So I thought I would just share a few of my experiences since getting back out into the real world. It was a life-changing experience, and it's going to continue to change the rest of my life for the better. But there's so many, you don't really know what to expect. I mean, going into rehab. So I thought with this, I would just maybe kind of focus on that and just tell you some things, some advice for what it's worth, or just a little bit of what to expect. A couple of little things. So first off, it's handy to, and again, this is just for the rehab center that I went to. So they're not all the same. And I didn't go to like a Beverly Hills rehab center. One thing I would recommend is to bring like a little tiny flashlight. Anything bigger than probably this, they're going to take away. But just like something you can use to read. Once the lights go out, it's pitch black. You can't even see the clock. At least for us, it wasn't a digital clock. So I had no concept of time all night, and it drove me nuts. The other thing that they didn't tell us, and I don't know if they do this everywhere, but when you're on the detox side, which is typically your first 8 days, they will come into your room every 15 minutes just to do a check, just to make sure you're still alive, I guess. And they'll tap something on the wall to verify they were there. But they didn't tell us that was going to happen. So we're dead asleep, and the door swings open, and some guy comes in, and then he's tapping the wall, and it's like, what the hell? And so it did wake me up every single time it happened. Would have been good to have a heads up on that one. Oh yeah, probably gonna have a roommate. I was hoping I wouldn't get one. I didn't have one for about 5 hours. And I thought, okay, it'd be great to just do this on my own. But I ended up with several different roommates that kept changing out for various reasons. But one which lasted, we became friends, and so it's good. But, just a couple of things. Definitely go to all the meetings. You get sort of a excuse for the first maybe day or two because you're still intaking all these medications they're giving you to try to get off the drug or alcohol, and so you're kind of messed up anyway. But if you can, go to all of them. If you can, speak up at the meetings. I think, if you speak up, you don't have to sell a whole lot, but then people will feel more comfortable reaching out to you. It's all about the people inside. The counselors there, they have their program that they're going to go through, but there's going to be open talk. There's going to be moments of, does anybody want to share? Or what do you think about that? They typically won't point to you, but speak up. Just, even if you're not comfortable doing that, I would recommend just do it. Because then that's how you get to know others faster. And then after the meeting, someone may come up to you that you don't even know, and they'll say, God, that thing you said, I have that same problem. Do you want to go talk about it? And it makes a big difference. Try not to take on smoking. It's hard, at least where we were, the only outside area that we had was the smoking area. So, you'd go out there if you wanted to be outside during a break, and, there's going to be a lot of people smoking, and it's a small little area. But some of the best conversations, to be honest, happened there. I met some of my closest friends out there smoking, sitting in a circle and just talking about stuff, maybe stuff not related to drugs and alcohol, just talking about life. And it was fun, but I did pick up smoking, and, I quit before I left. That was a mission of mine, because I didn't want to leave with yet another addiction I got to deal with. but I did also leave with bronchitis. So some of the other things, I thought what would be interesting is keep a journal. They recommend this anyway. Most places do. I journal all the time, but I took a book specifically to journal for this, and it's. I thought I would just read the last section of day one. So day one, I kind of broke it up into two sections because day one really was like chaos in the beginning, where you don't know what to do. Someone says, okay, sit there, someone will be with you. And then you see all these people walking around. You don't know any of them. You don't know who works there, who doesn't. And then somebody will come up to you and introduce themselves. And that's a great thing, because as you go on yourself through this, remember day one when you sat there in that chair, terrified, and then somebody came up and said hi, and then just said, oh, bro, don't worry, it's going to get better. First day sucks. So I always had told myself to get to day four before I made any major decisions, because otherwise I would have tried to bail like after day one. So yeah, here's my notes. Day one begins to close. It's not what I expected. Some is, but not all. I don't have my own bathroom, which is frustrating. That is very frustrating. I have a shared room, but luckily at the moment, I don't have a roommate. I've met several folks, but of course, the one that latches on to me is the most annoying one. Not a surprise. His name is Russell. The only Russells I've known were either dumb or annoying. He's both. I guess that's the name. Sorry, Russell, it's in the world. I've only been in here for like 7 hours, but it already feels like an eternity. I just want to go home and be with my wife and dog. I realize also our personal schedule in real life is going to kind of mess me up here. It's only 7:15 now, and I'm pretty much ready for bed. They took away my cologne. Apparently there's alcohol in cologne. Seems like you'd have to be pretty desperate to drink your own cologne, but whatever, alcohol's in there. Aside from Russell, I've been able to keep to myself. Folks seem kind, but I don't want to talk to anyone yet. It looks like when it comes to food time, you want to get there kind of early. The food and utensils kind of run out fast. I'm sad that I made so many bad choices in my life that it has to come to this. That was the end of day one. So, you're going to be sad. I was down on myself to think I'm here because of what I've done purposely to myself. I could have stopped a long time ago and not had to have gone through this, but now that I'm done, I'm so glad I did. I'm anxious to get results from my doctor next week on blood work on my liver. He asked me to get an MRI as well. And so, I'm really anxious to see that, because if I didn't do anything, I really was, looking at maybe 5 years left to realistically live based on the numbers that I have looked at for myself from the doctor. And so something had to change. So, bring things to read that you like. You don't need to bring a whole lot of clothes. Make them weather conscious. It was strange for us because the beginning of October here, it was super, super nice. It was like 80 degrees. So all of us brought like t-shirts and stuff and shorts and jeans. And then the weather magically changed to where it was like in the morning, the 40s. And none of us had warm jackets. So I don't know, do your best on that. But, you can get your laundry done inside there. And they're pretty responsive, at least this place. So I brought way more clothes than I needed. You don't need a lot. Know that the first couple of days, though, depending on what you're coming off of, you're going to have the night sweats. And so you're going to wake up and be soaking wet. And so you'll go through some clothes the first couple of days. But yeah, you can just put your laundry bag out there with your name on it, and it'll be done the next day. The other thing is they'll typically give you is called Librium. It's what's known as a taper. It's to help taper you off the drugs that you were on. Um, it's you just be careful when you do take that. They'll call it a taper. They may or may not say Librium, but it really causes your balance to be off. I guess that's what, hence the name equilibrium. So you'll be off balance. Like when you'll stand up in the morning to get out of bed, you might fall down, or you might run into the wall, or you might just randomly take a step to the right. So just be aware that you'll be like that. You'll be like that for a couple of days, and then they taper off the taper, and it gets better. Um, the shakes will be pretty bad, but the thing that's really cool is everybody helps each other out. So the first day is you're scared, you know. Everybody's scared on their first day. People will leave on their first day, or they'll beg the person they're with on the first day to not leave them there. They want to leave. I witnessed that firsthand. An older woman, and her husband was basically saying, "You have to do this," and she was bawling and just saying, "I don't need to, I don't need to," and it was heart-wrenching to see. Flash forward 2 weeks later, and she's laughing in the hallway and making jokes with everybody and part of the gang. So just get past the first couple of days, and people will introduce themselves to you. Take an opportunity of that. It's everybody's interesting because everybody's from different walks of life, but they all have a common purpose. And time will go by faster. You'll make friends. You'll get to know the systems and the good counselors, the bad, sometimes not bad, but sometimes boring. And sometimes you get to choose, say it's at 2 o'clock, what classes you're going to take. So, and I'm out 2 days sober. So all I can say about that, 21 days sober. All I can really say about that so far, aside from catching like bronchitis from smoking, I feel great. I have a new sense of clarity. It's kind of like I took a pair of dark glasses off and I can see everything more clear. And my mind is still trying to catch up to my eyes, if that makes sense. I look at something and it takes me a second to just kind of comprehend, because it's like a little kid walking out into a new store that he's never been into and looking around and just going, what is all this stuff? So it's a lot of things just flushing out. I found my emotions came to the surface pretty early on. I was talking, which I suggest, again, speaking up in meetings, and I was telling my story and I broke down crying. And I just even said, I apologize. I don't know why I'm crying. And it was like my first one, I think, that I had done. And, everybody, of course, said, don't worry about it. It's expected. And, I think it's just, once you start taking what I would call the dimmer switch away of the drugs, then you see things for what they really are. And when you speak, you hear your own words and you hear the stories that you're telling, and your emotions come out. So it's pretty cool, actually. Dreams become more vivid. So, and you're going to get much better sleep. The more time that goes by, the better. The first week, no. But since being home, just for a couple of days, I can say last night is the first night for many years I slept all the way through the night without even getting up. And I don't even think I might not have even moved. And, I just slept really well. Had a lot of really vivid dreams. When I was in there, I had a couple of nightmares. I think that was the meds they were giving me to get me off what I was on. But other than that, it's been great so far. So I'll definitely do another one of these, maybe every week or every other week, just to talk about the progression. The last piece of advice that I would leave with you, which is probably the most important of all, is going into this, meaning rehab, having a strong sense of faith in a higher power. Okay? You're going to need that. And if you have it already, great. Make sure it's strong inside. If you don't have it, you got to really find that, and for me, it's God. And I couldn't have done this without him, because none of my family's with me. I can't make any phone calls, can't make any contacts with anybody, but I could contact God, and I knew God was with me there. And with my faith, he was helping me through the tough times. So you need that, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be God, but just find your higher power. You're going to need it. So, okay. Well, I hope this helps somebody. I wish you all the best, and that's it for now. All right. Thanks. Bye.